This is the face you make when you just spent 3 minutes filming an intro before you realized that your camera wasn't even on. Hey y'all, I'm doing this for the second time. Okay, so basically the other day I put something on my Instagram saying that if you had any more questions for me related to living in Korea, then you should drop them now, because come fall I'm not talking about it anymore. Don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna be living here, but I just feel like the whole black girl living in Korea, what's it like living in Korea, has been done to death. Like, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like over it. And I want to focus more on fashion and beauty and makeup and all that good stuff, you know. And you guys are always saying that my skin is glowing. Guys, it's sweat. But I am going to be talking to you about like more like what I do with my skin and my hair and my makeup and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The girl's been practicing and trying to learn how to, you know, get groovy, and I just don't want to talk about Korea anymore. Like, ew. So the next couple of videos will probably be my last. But I was really surprised at the topic that you guys chose for me to talk about. I was like, really? That's what you guys want to know? Oh, I wasn't expecting it, but cool. So, what am I going to be talking about today? Boys. Well, more specifically dating. Like, if you don't know, I identify as bi, specifically pan, which basically means I don't care.
I don't care. I don't.
About your genitalia or what you identify as. I don't care if you're non-gender conforming, trans, boy, girl, like cis, I don't care. So there's that. I've been attracted to, I'm not even gonna go into it. I've just been attracted to basically anyone from the spectrum, I'm pretty sure. So I don't care. But in Korea, I have only dated men. So today we're gonna be talking about men specifically. Since I'm clearly not in a relationship, so obviously my dating experience hasn't been that successful, I would help you avoid some of the mistakes that I made. So first things first, before you come to Korea, if you've watched K-drama or listened to K-pop, which probably you have, because most people don't just pop up here, get all of that stuff out of your head. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. If you think they're all gonna be, you know, these gentle, like beautiful, tall, handsome men, just and romantic, forget it. I'm not being funny, but the same issues you would have with a guy back home are the same issues you're probably gonna have with guys here. People think they're gonna come here and meet their doominju who just, you know, kind of like gets the umbrella out every time it rains and never lets your feet touch the ground. And it's just like the amount of friends who I've had to like listen to crying because they got played in a situation where if they had told me prior, I could have told them they were getting played, is just insane. I'm just like, why did you think this would be any different to the guys back home? Like, you need to like be as guarded as you are back home, be a little bit more guarded when you're in a foreign country. Don't let yourself get played like that. So that's my first tip, is just to like throw all those fantasies out of the window. Guys are guys, like regardless of what country you're in, they're guys. That's it. Number 2 is to be aware of your optics. Like, this really sucks, but foreign girls here, there are certain stereotypes about us. Koreans don't see our culture as conservative, which I find really interesting because one, not all foreigners are from the same country, Like the US culture is different to the UK's culture, different to the Australian culture, but anyway, they see us all as one, Western. And they think Western culture isn't very conservative. They don't see us as conservative because from what they've seen of us in popular culture, movies, music videos and stuff, they feel like we're more open about relationships and sex than they are. You know, we have girls in videos who can be in like bikinis and shaking their ass and stuff, and so they think that that's basically what the girls are like. So for something that you might do back in England or back in the US or wherever you're from, like just innocently flirt with a guy, and the guy back home will probably know that that doesn't mean you want to jump into his bed the same night. Probably. I mean, Korean guys can sometimes misinterpret that through the lens of the stereotypes that they have with you as, oh, she wants to hook up. Let me give you an example. Short story time. I had gone out to eat with a friend of mine, and there were these really, really, really hot guys at the table across from us. So we're here and they're like there, and we were just like, oh my god, they're actually really fine. Like they were fine. And I really like, Korean guys look totally different to my type, by the way. Like I like tall, dark, and very, very very dark and very handsome. So for me to be like, oh no, they're fine, is like, oh, okay, maybe he's really fine. And so my friend was like, I just want to go and say hi. And I was like, I wouldn't do that if I were you, because he's gonna think you want to fuck. And she was just like, why the hell would I want to fuck? It's 8 p.m. and we're in a restaurant. And I was like, alright, go, get his number. He's gonna invite you to a love motel. He's gonna think you want to fuck. Plus, because of the age that the guys were, they were like uni students and we're like grown-ass women. I was like, go ahead, but I mean, in my opinion. Anyway, long story short, she did, and they exchanged numbers, and literally that same night, later on, he was like, oh, do you want to go to a love motel, which is basically where you go to do the boom boom. I told her, I said, he's gonna think that you're more than just flirting with him. He's gonna think you were trying to invite him to do the boom boom. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with wanting to hook up with guys in Korea. If you've come here for a short time and you just want to have fun, stay protected, have fun. But if you know you're not interested, like me, I'm just not interested in that. I don't feel like coming here to be disappointed in another continent. So I'm just very cautious of how I come across. Like, I don't really flirt with guys unless we've been dating for some time. You know, I kind of try and treat them the way that they should expect to be treated. Like the same way Korean girls gonna treat you and make you talk to them a certain way, you have to talk to me that way too. So there's that. And another thing is, skinship isn't common. So like, I have guy friends. One of my best friends is a guy, and when I see him, I often play with his nose or play with his hair and stuff, and we are just platonically friends. If I did that in Korea, people would be like, is that your man? Because you're touching him. Or sometimes I hold my friend's hands and, you know, they'll be like, is that your man? Because skinship is like not a common thing here unless you're like dating. And you see that sometimes in the dramas actually, like they'll like hold hands and it's like a slow motion and you're like, why? Because skinship isn't just something that you just do with any old one, not even just like, oh, male friends. And also, like, I've noticed it's changing a little bit now, but girls and boys are not really friends here. As in, you don't really see like mixed groups of girls and boys together. It's changing, like if you go to the city, but if you're still in like the suburbs or small towns, you don't see it as much. And so like, you just have to be careful. Like, even if you're just trying to be friends with someone, they might get the wrong impression, because they're not used to being friends with someone of the opposite sex. I kind of find that frustrating because I need a nice balance of friends. I can't just be friends with girls and I can't just be friends with boys. But you have to be so cautious that people are not reading into things. So anyway, I'm gonna move on, but that's number 2, just to be careful how things look. And take a step back sometimes and just be like, how does this look and how could this be interpreted by someone from a different culture to me? And a lot of the time you think, actually, it's not appropriate. For what I want to get out of this relationship, it's not appropriate. So Okay, number 3. So I've told you to be careful about how things look from your end, like how does this look, what I'm doing, but also pay attention to the way things look from their end. Like, I've always been really fussy about the way guys approach me in any country. Like, I'm so fussy. Like, if someone approaches me back home and they stop me and they're like, oh, come here, I never come. Fuck you. You've stopped me, come here. Like, I'm so fussy about that. But I'm like, that times 2 in Korea. Like, how do you approach me? What language do you speak to me when you approach me? And what kind of questions are you asking me? For example, like, if someone says hello to me in Korea, I'm at an low intermediate level. So I'm approaching my level 3 assessment, and I'm just like, will I pass? I don't know. But I've done level 0 and level 1. So I'm kind of at the low end of the intermediate level in Korean, which is enough to have day-to-day conversations with people in. Although don't tell any of my colleagues, because I love to play dumb so that I don't have to do stuff. But so when someone approaches me, I reply to them in Korean, and I try to talk to them in as much Korean as possible. And when I hang out with my Korean friends, I always say to them, speak to me in Korean if you can, and if I don't understand, fine. Luckily my friends are fluent in English, but if I don't understand, then maybe like translate or whatever, but try to speak to me in Korean, because I prefer it. I'm in Korea and I'm learning Korean, so it's beneficial to me. So when a guy approaches me, if I'm talking to him in Korean and he's talking to me in English, I'm just out. I'm out. And I thought I was a little bit crazy, but I have a friend who lives in Japan and he's the same. He speaks pretty much fluent Japanese, and when people talk to him in English, when he's talking to them in Japanese, he cuts the conversation. Don't do that. I'm talking to you in your native language. We're in your country. And I think the reason I'm like that is because it kind of suggests the longevity or the purpose of like what you're approaching me for. Like, you don't care if I speak Korean. If you just keep speaking to me in English, you don't care. Therefore, this isn't going to go anywhere, because it's not like you care enough about my proficiency. So therefore, you're not really intending to introduce me to any friends or family. And honestly, I thought that I was being crazy. But actually, I don't know if you guys follow Megan Bowen. She also said the same thing when she did her video about dating in Korean. And I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy. Like, why are you talking to me in English when I'm talking to you in Korean? Like, it just suggests that you don't really give a shit about how acclimated I am here. So therefore, don't waste my time. Bye. Okay, next one. So let's say you've come to Korea, you're living in Korea, or you're on vacation in Korea. You've met a guy, you've been out once or twice or whatever, and you like him, he's cute, he's ticked all the boxes so far. And then he turns to you one night and he goes, do you want to go to a love motel? Or do you want to go to watch a movie, you know, in a motel? Anything along those lines. This also translates to, do you want to have sex with me? So in Korea, there are these places that you can go to watch movies. They're like little rooms that you can go to watch movies, and there's these things called love motels, and those are like pay by the hour motels, and they're themed and they're usually very lovely. And I've actually stayed in one as averse to staying in a hotel because they're cheaper, but I stay by myself. But they're basically used for hooking up, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're very common in Korea, because a lot of people live with their parents until they're married, so they gotta do the boom boom somewhere. And so, you know, I just think that be careful if they're inviting you to a secluded place, like a DVD bang, or a love motel, hell, even a noraebang, to be honest, which is a karaoke room. Just like, no, actually no, not karaoke. Karaoke is really sweet, but specifically love motels and DVD bangs, it usually is a chance to get you alone and like make out or hook up. Love motels are specifically for hooking up. So, you know, I just don't want people to think think that things are super innocent because that's the way Korean TV programs portray the guys, and then get in a situation where you feel pressured or trapped. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've kind of stopped laughing at this point because I really want to stress this. Like, it's a cultural thing almost, but you should know what that means. Do you want to go to a love motel? It means, do you want to spend the night with me doing the boom boom? And, you know, if you say yes and you don't know what it is and you go, that can be really awkward, and it can make you feel really uncomfortable and pressured. And then maybe if the guy turns out to not be so nice, a sense of entitlement can come. And I have had my friends be in those situations, and I've been like really, really, really devastated for them because they felt super uncomfortable. So love motel equals boom boom. You know what I'm saying? Boom boom. All right. I got two more sayings that you should be aware what they mean if you're planning on coming here and you want to avoid Korean fuckboys. 1, you want to eat ramen. You're probably thinking, what? So you go out on a date, or you're hanging out, and he says to you, hey, do you want to eat ramen at my house? It's kind of the equivalent of being like, do you want to come in for a coffee or a nightcap? Like, you know what that means. Do you want to come inside for, you know, the boom boom? To which my answer is always no. Fuck off. There's ramen at home. Bye. But you know, it's good to know, like, maybe you might want to invite someone into your house for some ramen. And the reference basically comes from a movie. In the movie, the guy's like dropping the girl home from a date or something, and I think she's like, hey, do you want to eat ramen? Obviously in Korean, it's a Korean movie, and it basically means like, hey, do you want to have sex? But in like a cool way, you know what I mean? So basically that's where it comes from. But you know, if a guy's like, oh, do you want to eat ramen? The chance of, I mean, ramen is not fancy, nor is ramen romantic, y'all. Like, it costs like $2, and it's all like saturated crap, and it's not sexy to eat either. It's like noodles, like, it's not sexy. So I mean, duh, but like, I guess not duh. But yeah, it means, do you want to have sex? So now that you know, you can use it, or you can be aware what it means, you know. And if any of you do say yes out there, have fun. Make sure you wrap your ramen in a packet. That didn't make no sense, but anyway. And then the last one is, I think I've almost forgotten it. Oh, can I cook for you? This is one of the big ones. The amount of guys who are like, can I cook for you? And I'm just like, why? Can't believe I almost forgot that one. Can I cook for you is like one of the biggest, like, almost like it's a date invitation where they have to come to your house and they'll bring ingredients and they'll cook. And I think what's really funny is they'll actually cook for you, which is quite sweet, but it kind of means like, I want to hook up with you, but I don't want to just be like, wham bam, thank you ma'am, like, we can have dinner, we can have a glass of wine, but it doesn't mean it's going to lead to a relationship. Obviously with these things, like, there's always exceptions. So like, you could meet someone for a hookup and end up being in a relationship with them. It does happen, it happens all the time. But can I cook for you basically is a way to get into your house and therefore get into your panties. And it was really funny because when we first got here, my friend, she was like, this guy came to my house to cook for me and it was really nice. And then I was like, I think he thought we were gonna have sex, because I basically ate and was like, oh, that was so nice, thanks, I'll call you, bye. And then he was just like, and I was like, girl, are you okay? Like, you don't know what that means, can I cook for you? But anyway, I thought it was really funny because even if she had invited him around under the, you know, thinking that, yeah, they were gonna hook up, she has a right to change her mind. So go home. I don't know what you're doing, go home. So anyway, that's what it means, and that's the last one. I really had fun making this. Like, I wasn't expecting you guys to choose this topic, and I'm not going to tell you about my dating life in Korea because it's been mostly uneventful. Like, I've had my experiences, but I haven't done the whole hooking up with anyone. I don't have like the real juicy tea. I can't confirm nor deny any stereotypes, if you know what I mean. I don't know, but yeah, it's just an interesting one. And yeah, I mean, just remember all the things I taught you today, you know, take notes, write them down, and don't get played. It's really that simple. All right, so thank you all for watching. You know, like, share, subscribe, all of that jazz. And you know, if you are one of the people who have watched a few of my videos and you haven't subscribed yet, I mean, come on, what you doing? And yeah, I guess I'll just like see you all when. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there because I'm not even, ow, oh snap, I'm not even gonna lie, I actually have work to do and I have to leave work in like an hour, so I'll catch you on the flip side. No, I don't like that. I'll just see you guys next week. Bye.